Welcome to the We Got Notes podcast, hosted by your cinema connoisseurs. That includes myself, Shawn, that's Shawn Edwards, and my girl, Fahnia Thomas. Now, check this out. This is the only spot with two certified, I'm talking about two certified film critics in the building, offering uninhibited and jocular chats about film and television.
Hey, that's right, Shawn. Each month, we'll bring you stories from sets, tales from behind the scenes, and movie reviews, plus some TV thoughts from the latest releases. Because we got notes. Chill out, grab a snack, and vibe with us. And if you got notes, let us know. Drop them in the comments. We might read some. Welcome to episode 4. We're going to dig into Conclave, the focus feature film. It's out now. I think it was about 20 million in the box office, give or take. Don't ever quote me, because these are just stuff that's on Google that may or may not be true. Mystery thriller with some heavy hitters. We have Ralph Fiennes, we have Stanley Tucci, we have John Lithgow, we have Sergio. Please forgive me, I don't know how to mispronounce your name, but I love his character. Sergio Castellitto. Sorry, Sergio.
I'm not touching it. You know my rule. If I don't know how to say it, I'm not saying it.
Yeah. And as someone who has a name that is often mispronounced, I just stopped caring a long time ago because people don't care about how to pronunciate my name.
So what's the worst butchering of your name? Oh, seriously.
A couple days ago, you and I were at a press event for another film called Nickel Boys, and I was with one of our colleagues named Jasmine Simpkins and someone from a company called JPI who runs the production of interviews for press. Long story short, he said Fahnia. He didn't even try. He didn't even Wow. And I was like, if I could
he added how many times, he added a lot of different letters.
People see it and automatically they just get diarrhea. They're like, and they lose all logic. So Sergio, my apologies.
Wow. That's a good breakdown though. That justifies everything. Like I said, I worked in television so long that if I don't need to say it, I don't have to say it. I'll just tell the producer to put a chyron up.
Yeah, no, smart.
I'm old now. I can admit to certain things. I'm lazy.
You're in the I don't give a bracket of life, right? That's the era.
No, not quite. No, I ain't that old. That's like not quite that old, but I'm getting
Shawn,
there.
That's like, I feel like that's the generation over 25, 30, depending on their life experience. Like, it's just.
Then I'll take it. Then I'll take it. I don't care. Yeah, I'm over it. Yeah. I'm over it. Yeah, I'm over it.
And don't be a parent. Like, even less stuff you care about. Like, what?
Oh, especially if you have more than one child. Because after you had that first one, it's curtains for the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. If you decide to have that many, because you really don't care.
You don't have the capacity to care. The care capacity has dwindled. I can tell how much you want to talk about Conclave.
I love talking about movies. Let's go. You go first, though, man. It's about popes and priests, right?
It's
popes and priests. Vatican City.
Yes, it's the Cardinals. We have director Edward Berger.
And not the birds, because there may be people out there listening that don't understand. We're not talking about birds. Dudes that run the Catholic Church.
No, this is not about our flying friends. These are about our religious.
Never know. People out there, man. The educational system ain't what it used to be.
You're not wrong about that.
He's gonna get nominated for an Oscar. Edward Berger. He's legitimately a great director. Like he's got his craftsmanship is top notch.
I agree. And I feel like he delivered with this film. I think a couple episodes back, you and I discussed going into films kind of raw and not maybe watching a trailer or reading a synopsis or a log line or doing too much background.
Best practices. Yep.
Yes. And that's how I went into Conclave. I was like, I have no idea what this is about, but I liked it. And I really think that maybe Sergio should be nominated for Best Supporting Actor. I feel like he delivered. There were so many great scenes with him. One of my favorites is when he is in the cafeteria dining hall with his vape pen. just so casually, like looking around at all the nonsense and observing, I was just like, oh, I like him. I think he did his character justice. The first 10 minutes of the film, I was like, oh, I smell cover up. You know, anything when it comes down to the Catholic Church, it's like, ooh, rumors, rumors, rumors. Shout out to my Real Housewives of Salt Lake City fans. They'll get that. So I thought that was great. I thought the script was well done. I thought the score was good. It was heavy. It was dramatic. It's like an additional character. Like I could feel the mood. I could feel the heaviness. I could feel the Catholicism in my core. Cinematically, I thought the camera angles also offered an additional character. You know, the spinning and the circling added to the drama, the different angles they chose, even the close-ups. You know, I feel like it gave still art, photography, and motion, which helped add meaning. The script, I thought, I thought it was honest when they were talking about segregation in the church, and there's no way there would be like an African or Asian pope. Even the ceremony of all the things that they displayed, it was beautifully done. The sister scene, oh, as a Catholic school kid, I love a good nun, I love a good sister. You know, her line about we're supposed to be invisible, but we have eyes and ears, and the way that she silenced all those men in that room, I I was like, yes, I think I clapped a little bit. And I liked people getting a glimpse inside of the politics of the papacy. I think that, should happen more often. And just the themes about the church and it being about not what we do next, but how we use it as men and women. There's a lot of heavy topics talked about in this film, but there were some really nicely inlaid comedic relief points. Even the wine and the smoking and the sex of it all, I was like, oh, thank you. I like Conclave, if you can't tell.
Well, everything you said is 100% correct, without a shadow of a doubt. But one of my all-time favorite hip-hop groups ever, representing the Dirty South from back in the day, was this group called Young Bloods. And they had this line: if you don't give a damn, we don't give a F. And that's how I felt about this movie. As well as it's done, as great as the acting is, as dope as the story is, I just didn't care. And I was bored out of my mind. And I was sitting there thinking, why? Because, like you said, the direction, Edward Berger is amazing. Like, you feel like you're in the Vatican. Ray Fiennes hasn't been this good since Schindler's List. It was superbly written. It had every attribute a Best Picture winner should have, and it probably will win Best Picture, if not come very, very close. But I just didn't care. But then when I went back and thought why I didn't care is because I figured out the plot in the first 5 minutes.
No way.
And I was like,
no way.
Yes, yes, yes.
Shawn Edwards, you knew the ending?
Yes. I knew that dude, and I don't want to give anything away, I knew when a certain character popped up, that was the dude.
Okay, I'll say this. I know who you're talking about. The film is out, but I knew who you were talking about would somehow end up on top. However, that ending smacked me across my face like a bag of penises.
Oh, okay. Now, the one element I didn't know. Okay. All right.
Come on.
I know most people haven't seen it. I don't like giving like big details away. So I predicted that the guy would be on top. I didn't predict the other thing. I'm a film geek. Like, I still want people to go out and see it and experience. I know. I'm just saying I still didn't. My biggest problem with Conclave is it didn't connect with me enough to care.
Okay,
Like
so
I
you don't
wanted to
care about
care.
so the film has been out since October 25th. If the film has come out within 30 days, 4 weeks, 31 days, cover your ears because we're going to talk about endings and it might be a spoiler for you. And we don't want to spoil it.
Well, right now we can just say if someone hasn't seen it and they want to see it and they don't want anything spoiled, right now is a spoiler alert coming. So turn this off. And if you don't care, keep listening.
I love
That's
it. I
how
love it. Because you know what else I love? I love a
what?
hermaphrodite pope. Okay. Like, what? I had no idea. I was like, what? I looked around the theater like,
Yeah,
nah, I scratched my head. I was like, wait, a uterus and ovaries? Wait, and
I was.
testes?
Yeah. So what's
What?
the statement being made? Like that the Pope should represent like both genders simultaneously?
Oh, okay. Sure. I feel like the statement being made is whatever you want to take away from it, whatever you and your household believe or don't believe. What they said in the film was, why change what God created?
Yeah, that was heavy.
It's
Like that
super
statement was.
heavy.
Yeah, that statement was super heavy. I mean, I thought it was a it wa- it was a good flip. It wasn't quite the crying game, but it was it's in the crying game league.
I mean, I was just, as you know, we watch a lot of content. I was just like, I
Yes.
wasn't expecting that. It takes a lot to surprise and shock me. I was shocked and surprised so much that when I walked out of
So
the theater, I was like, wait, I need to understand the Webster's Dictionary definition of hermaphrodite. And believe it or not, frogs are hermaphrodites, earthworms, and plants are hermaphrodites. So we live with
yes,
the
that is
this
true.
every
That is true.
day, but to
That
factor
is
in the
true.
Catholic Church, whoa,
Well, that's kind of another problem I have with the film because I was like, so is this a different movie now?
depends on the
Because
viewer.
it, it just so we doing this one thing for an hour and 55 minutes, and then the last 5 minutes we doing this thing, and it was that was a bit jarring for me.
So, okay, let me ask you this. Even so, you said throughout the film you just didn't care. There was no buy-in
Uh,
for you.
it's too
At the
slow,
end
too
of it,
slow.
did you care?
Nah, but I was like, okay, I get it. That was nice. It was, it was nicely done. I kind of, I kind of like clap my hands the way you clap your hands for the girl who comes in third place on the beam exercise.
Stop.
Like, well, that was good, but you ain't gonna win the gold medal. Like, like,
Okay,
like
I'm gonna go as so far out on a limb to say the closing scene where the shutters kind of open up because they've been in this conclave, they've been shut in, technically
been
not
locked
supposed,
up for a while. Yeah.
right, no access to the outside world. I felt like at the end when the shutters opened up, there was a sense of awakening, and I, for my mind, went straight to Lawrence Fishburne in the college hill saying, wake up.
Oh, you went school days on us.
Yes, yes.
Man,
So
people still say wake up. Man, who knew Spike? Man, that line stuck. Like, wow. That movie came out a long time ago.
how many claps are you giving Conclave?
I am so conflicted on this movie because, like I said, Edward Berger is a really exceptional director and it's very well made. Like, you can't argue that. You can't deny the craftsmanship and the skill set that went into it. I'm a huge Ray Fiennes fan. Like I said, this is the best he's been since Schindler's List, and he did the thing. Like I thought he was a pope or a cardinal or whatever he was. I thought he was one of them dudes. He was good. He was believable. And I'm a huge Stanley Tucci fan. Like Stanley Tucci's great. Like Stanley Tucci is so good He was the best part of that Whitney Houston movie a couple of years ago
Oh,
when he played Clive Davis.
yes.
Like Stanley takes basic roles and makes them memorable. Like Stanley Tucci was great in The Devil Wears Prada.
I feel like you're right. He has transcended what like he I feel like him and like the Denzel Washingtons and the Samuel Jacksons, they are themselves and then they bring the character just kind of
No, Stanley Tucci's amazing.
he just
Like I
Tucci'd
said,
it is what I like
yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
say.
Ooh, that's a good catchphrase. No, the movie's solid. It's like, come on, the movie's solid. You can't knock it for that. I'm not gonna put my credibility on the line and say it's a bad movie because it's not. I just didn't care. I did not care. I mean, and that's okay. That's okay. It didn't connect with me. I wasn't vibing with it. I mean, I watched it. I got through it. It wasn't painful. I wasn't annoyed. I just at the end of the day, I just didn't care. Like when it comes time to vote, because I'm not passionate about it, I'm probably not going to get very many votes from me. Maybe Rafe. I like Rafe. Rafe Fiennes has never won an Oscar, so why not now? But I I just didn't care. But it's a well-made movie. I'm right down the middle, 2.5, 2.5.
2.5.
Yeah,
I am giving it 5 claps.
we love this movie. A lot of people do though. Like that's what I'm saying. It's probably going to win Best Picture.
This movie was so good.
You give it a 5. So hey, if it wins Best Picture, then you were absolutely positively correct, and I was absolutely positively dead wrong.
And guess what we get for that? Nothing. Zip, zilt, zero.
Nothing.
Maybe some credibility bragging rights, but there's nothing, there's no deposits in the coin purse.
No, if you participate like in one of those Oscar pools, sometimes people put money on it. I used to do one a long time ago, back in the 90s, and I used to always win, and the group I did it with banned me from doing it anymore.
Haters.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. I will never watch it again, so there you go. All right, as you can see, we always got notes, and we have lots of notes, but we appreciate y'all for chilling with us, sticking with us, and if you got notes, let us know, and check back in next week for our notes on all, and I mean all, the latest releases.
Don't forget to subscribe and like the We Got Notes podcast on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, or wherever you listen to podcasts.